If you ever thought about getting a successful mentor or coach, and you actually want me, Spectacular Smith, to actually coach you and become your mentor, I'm actually so excited about releasing my online school, Spectacular Academy, where I'm actually going to teach you live once a month different skill sets that's actually going to help you change your life for the better. Transformational information that I'm going to give you guys access to. I have a formula to success that every single company that I ever touched turned into gold. And I have over 14 companies, okay? And all of them have the same type of success. So I want to teach you everything that the school system should have taught you. You know, everything that I know and how I built these fast growing companies and these award winning companies, and show you real curriculums that I'm going to break down, and you're going to have access to me. I'm going to be live in the chat rooms. I'm going to be live in the Facebook groups and personal communities that I'm going to give you guys access to of like-minded entrepreneurs. So you're not by yourself on this mission. Not only you have me as a coach and a mentor, but you actually have your peer-to-peer people that's going to push you and root for you on the way to the top. Guys that's on the same exact wavelength that you are on and want the same exact results. Because my game plan is to change the way the school systems teach and teach you the things that need to make an impact in your life. Things that's going to be a high-ticket skill that you can use forever, where you don't never have to worry about going broke or not eating at night, because once you learn how to market and brand yourself, then you can eat for a lifetime. You get access to my team and everything. If you want to go to my free training just to get a sample of the things that's going to be in my program, you can actually go to specmentorme.com, or I'm going to put it in the bio. Only take a certain amount of people every single month. So reserve your seat and do not procrastinate, because you might just miss out. Now let's get to the podcast. What's up, everybody? This is Spectacular Smith, and welcome to the Spectacular Experience.
Another good brother right here, Marco, is actually one of my business partners. One of the companies that we launching right now. But Marco, man, you done been through a lot in your businesses. You done had a $30 million company. You done been through the ups, the downs. You don't realize how business can take over your personal life and just take over your life in general. Mm-hmm. Like, what is some of the things that you can tell, like somebody who might be starting a business, going down that same path that you went down? Because the fact of the matter, everybody's not going to be able to have a $30 million business.
I think probably the biggest thing for me, I'm gonna step in here because it'll be brighter when I turn this up real quick. Probably the biggest thing that was really important for me just starting off was definitely like being able to surround yourself with resources. Like you and John have been talking about, is finding people that can be around you, that believe in you, one that can support you, can mentor you, and teach you the roads. Because one of the things that probably stuck out for me the most when my grandpa told me this a while back, when I used to look up to people, and I'd look at somebody that's got like $1 billion business, or like, I want to be like this person or that person, is he would say, man, the only thing that separates you from somebody else is just history. They've just been there. They've been there before. And it's very similar to what we're talking about right now, about that exposure. And for me, before I had exposure to raising capital, or I knew anything about like loans or financials or a lot of that stuff, like all I had was hustle and drive. And it took people putting me on to understanding more about how to use my mind and actually make it more efficient, that actually allowed me to progress a lot. And then the second big piece that really hit me hard in the past few years, though, was really just understanding why I was doing what it was that I was doing. So like really getting into this place where once I started really breaking down, like, all right, what is my goal and why do I want to accomplish this? And as if it's something bigger than just my success. Like, is it about like my happiness? Is it about my joy? Is it about a vision that I have in another 5 years that I want to accomplish, and locking myself into that, so that if I understand what my why is and I'm not just doing it just to do it, then I can really create something that I desire, and feel like I have sort of grown from a place where there's no limitation, where the only limitation that I have is whatever I place on myself. And that whatever anybody else tells me around me of like what I can or can't do, or what situations I think I have to go into, that I really adopt this mindset of really being that creator. Like I could create my path however I want.
And what do you feel like was one of your biggest lessons that you learned? Like, what is the top 3 lessons that you feel like you learned in your journey?
Ooh, man. Number one is money doesn't buy happiness. I think that's a real one, because like getting to that place where I could pretty much have anything, be anywhere, and be around anybody and have all the access, and then finding out that like my milestones were just continuing to climb. I'm like, all right, first I thought I was hyped to make $10,000 a month. Then I thought like, all right, I'm hyped because I'm making, $50,000 a month. Then I'm like, I'm hyped because I'm making $50,000 a day. And I got to a place where I'm upset when I'm making less than $1 million a month.
Yeah,
and I'm realizing like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? Like, just me a few years ago would have been hype as hell about where I am right now. And that required me to step back and really look at like, what am I placing importance on? And that's like number one that I think is so important. And then number 2, to this person saying, well, when you finally happy, is like probably the number 2 lesson for sure was to focus in on myself first over the accolades and over the accomplishments. So sometimes what people will do, and I used to do this a lot, is I create this like martyr mind, right? And it's very similar to even the retirement mindset, where people talk about creating a life like later, that, right now, like I got to grind out right now so that like, in 10 years, like my family's going to be set, or in 5 years, like, I'm going to have this big retirement fund. But for now, I can just live shitty and just not really enjoy myself. And like that right there, like that's a fallacy. It doesn't mean that you don't get to work hard and that you don't get to create situations that may not be something that is like the most appealing or the easiest for you. But it does mean that ultimately you get to live every single day in this present moment, like enjoying your current day, not just for some shit that's going to happen in, 5 years or 10 years, because that shit may never happen. And that's part of what you said too about regret. It's like, that's the biggest thing that people live with, is how they live their lives while they were alive, and then realizing that they stepped back and they never made it to that day when they were going to switch on and pay attention to family or pay attention to their lives or anything like that. So that's like a number 2 for sure. And I say the third thing, man, it's to be I think like be creatively curious, right? So that creatively curious is also not just being curious about yourself, but being curious about the people that are around you. Because sometimes I think that, in my life, I've overlooked certain people or certain routes towards me getting some new knowledge or accomplishing a partnership, because I had like a very fixed perspective, where I thought like, I know what I'm doing, and this is the way that I got to go. And maybe that route that I had created was a good route, but it didn't mean that it's the only route, right? And when I become open to curiosity, and I allow other people to contribute to me, and I allow myself to even think like, what if I tried a different way? Then I become flexible as all hell. And that flexibility allows me to see new opportunities. Like in my life, in my career, I stayed so focused on one path that I missed mad shit. Like I should have been running the digital for like so many of the largest celebrities and so much of like the biggest shit that's happening in the world right now. And I just still did some really big things. But in that path of me not being creative and being open to other opportunities, I closed down so many doors because I was so tunnel vision. And I mean, this, it was hard as hell to even get in touch with me for so long. Like, because I would create that mindset that's like fixed on there's only one way to get there. So when you're open to opposing opinions, you're open to other people that maybe haven't even achieved the type of success that you have, and you're like, what could this person teach me? But you're just willing to listen. Like that's been one of the biggest things. I've learned some of my biggest lessons from people just starting business that I thought like, oh, this person couldn't tell me anything, and vice versa. I've learned lessons from people that I didn't like, that I'm like, yo, I don't like the way this person thinks, or like, nah, what their method of thinking is not the vibe for me, and it's allowed me to actually expand my reality a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so let's switch it up a little bit. So that's what you
Yeah.
learned. So tell me, how did you build a successful business? What are some of the things that you did that made you successful in building your business?
Ooh, boy. So I'll tell you a few things that really got me off. So one was me taking those opportunities, put me in a pretty good place, because I started off with John Legend. Before he was famous, he was just a guy that was friends with one of my friends in college, and he was like, "Yo, I think this guy's gonna go somewhere." So like I was like, "Yo, let's do some marketing with him." That was one, just that idea of taking risk, right? And just being there and being like, I'm gonna put grind behind something that I don't know where it's gonna go, but I know that like I wanna ride the energy that I feel around me, and I'm willing to take that risk of, whether this becomes something or not, it's gonna be experience. It
Mm-hmm.
just so happened that my initial risk, turned into a major artist that then went into E40, to Raphael Sadiq, to Ludacris, to Chingy, and that really became from me back in 2002, really studying up and being on my grind in technology at the time when there wasn't a lot of people that were really paying attention to social media at that same way. Like Facebook wasn't even around or anything. So I just really found a niche that I could learn a lot from, and then applying that into music and entertainment. So I basically found a lane, right? And in that lane, I was like, I'm gonna own this lane super hard, and I'm gonna be willing to be there for any and every opportunity out there that's related to that. So I'd show up at all the events, like at every single conference. So I was just constantly putting myself out there. And the one thing I know that always stood out for me and that really supported me is I carried this like confidence as if I already had been there, even when I was starting. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we start thinking about visualization, and also like about embodiment. And we were talking about that earlier, like John and you were talking about just doing things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like instead of you approaching something and saying like, I'm not really here yet, like I don't know if like so and so is going to pay attention to me. Like you don't know until you try.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you not know until you try, but based on how you show up is how people receive you. So if you show up as like, yo, I'm an expert, and I'm ready to push my value out there, and I've got something valuable for you, and I know I may only have started this like a year ago, but like I'm somebody that you really want to mess with, right? And if I put that energy out there and I carry that in every single room and every meeting that I go into, people feel that and they resonate with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And they all of a sudden they're like, oh, there's something this person has. I feel confident because they're confident. Right. And like
Yes.
that actually boiled into me and my employees, because what I did kicking off my business before we even had any money is I got like 6 employees and didn't have any money, and got all of them to work for free. And what we did is we created a system where we would clock their hours, and they could turn their hours into like money once we hit a certain milestone, or they could turn it into equity. And
Smart.
in that time, like I basically had staff working for almost a full year before we had any capital, because of that vision, because I got them involved in like, here's the vision of where I see this company going. Here's how I see it growing. Here's what's in it for you. And every single one of those people obviously ended up getting paid. They ended up getting equity. And we took, $15,000 that I ended up getting and turned it into $1.8 million within 18 months, and then continued to grow from there.
That's absolutely smart. So anybody who's creating a business, I never even knew that. That was
Yeah.
genius, bro. That was genius. Like, listen, I'm gonna clock your hours, and then as I clock these hours, this is gonna become equity for you, and this is gonna have value to it for the future. Work free
Mm-hmm.
now, get paid later.
Get
But
paid
in
later.
order for you to get paid later, you got to put in the work now. So
Yeah.
if you don't believe, that means you're wasting your time. So not only you get more people that believe, you got your vision, you painted your vision and your mission to them, and they was down for the cause. So they was
Yes.
down to work free for. So for a lot of you guys who starting a business, you have to be able to communicate your vision, your mission to the people who's gonna follow you on your journey when you're first starting out, and even when you do start out, right? And
Yeah.
the thing is going, everything is moving. You still have to be able to keep them motivated, keep that mission in front of them, keep that vision in front of them, for them to actually be able to want to execute for you proficiently. You know,
Oh
because one
yeah.
thing to have somebody on your team, but if they just there to clock in and clock out, then you'll never really win like that. The people who win is the people who can get the vision out to their team and say, this is where we're going, this is why we're doing it, and this is what we're going to get out of it when it happens. And the confident part, just to rewind on that, some of my biggest deals is because how confident I am when I talk to them.
Exactly.
I don't care if I
How
just
you
start,
show up.
and I learned this from Bill Gates too. Bill Gates said, agree and figure it out later. Somebody like, yo, Spec, you can do that? Hell yeah, I could do that. Easy. As soon as we lock the deal down, I'm like, yo, all right, how the hell we gonna figure this
I'm
out?
gonna do this.
How we gonna figure this out? Right?
Yeah.
Agree and figure it out later. You can figure it out once the deal is locked in, right? And then the worst kind of worst, you say, hey, I need more time. And then they can say yes or no. Like, but at that point, you got the deal locked in. You can go figure it out. You can go to a guy named Marco and say, hey, Marco, like, I just locked in this $1 million deal. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I know you're good at this. Let's go 50-50 on it. Now you made 50% of something you would have never had if you would have just been like, I don't know. Oh, okay, I guess. And it's like, hell no, I ain't doing the deal with that guy. You don't know what the hell he talking about. He don't sound like he know what he talk. That's first thing they're gonna say. He don't seem like he know what he talking about. I don't think our money's safe with him.
Yeah,
But if you come in there like, what? Build a rocket? Come on, man. That's it? I thought you was gonna say something way more crazy than that. Build a rocket? Come on, man. What you wanted to go to Mars? Easy. Come on, man.
bro.
Give him that contract we had Peter signed last year for the other rocket we did. Give it to you. Ain't got it? All right, we gonna send you that. What's your email? And then as soon as you send the emails, like, yo, we need to send him a contract because we ain't never built a rocket before.
We never built the shit.
But the confidence, the way that you say it, the confidence, the way it comes out, is like, I need to be around this person. I feel safe with my money and my project in this person's hand, and you go figure out how to build the rocket later.
Well, bro, and you know what you just said that's so dope is like, I think there's two things that this combines for people to really take away. One is definitely that confidence, and I'm gonna add in there the integrity, right? Of like that, you're like, yo, you know what? Like I can lock down something, and I can say I'm willing to go out there and put myself on the line to accomplish this, and I have enough integrity to be like, if I can accomplish it, I'm definitely gonna do it. Like, and if I start hitting roadblocks, like then yeah, I have the ability
You let
to
them know.
shift and switch and let them know. But
Yeah.
the second piece for me is the moment that I open up my mind and I realize that my resources are not just limited to me, and I look at this whole fucking world, like you just said. I'm like, yo, like I'm about to do something, and it's about blowing up people in social media. Let me hit up Spec. Like, I got this. Like, I'm about to do something, and it's about, you know, whatever it is, like investing in a 401ks. Like, I may not know anything about that, but if I can find a resource that is an expert at it, then instead of me trying to be an expert at all things, I surround myself with a team of experts. I'm constantly there to reach out. So if somebody comes to me and says, here's what I want to accomplish, the beautiful thing is, whether I know how to do it or not, I know how to bring together the people that do.
Exactly.
Right? And that can be the thing in and of itself that somebody gains a lot of trust from you on.
Well, that's what all the wealthy do. Like, I don't have
they don't
to
do shit.
Like, I don't have to be the smartest person in the world. Whatever I need, it's one phone call away. No matter what I need. So I just got to look at my phone book. And that's why when you make yourself resourceful, then you become more of an asset to people. And the more you become an asset to people, they become an asset to you. So now by you always giving value, when it's that time for you to need something, they're more likely to help you or to find somebody who can help you. Because even though my resource list only goes so far, if I'm a starting entrepreneur, you can find out of that resource, those resources have branches and arms too.
Yeah.
Because now their friend, like your third connection, the second degree connection, third degree connection. But no matter what, it's still a connection. So you have to get out, you have to mingle, you have to network, you have to add value to people and figure out a way that you can actually bring things to the table for people that's around you, especially if it's people that you know. So I always say it's a disservice for you to have information that can help somebody and don't give it to them.
That shit. Yeah, you got it. You got to share, man. I mean, and you're a perfect example of that, of getting on both with the Avatar Academy and being on here dropping gems all the time, man. I just got to say this real quick and continue, man. I'm so freaking proud of you. Like seeing this whole evolution, man, for freaking
Yeah,
more than a decade. Like
yeah,
it's just, I mean, the thing is that like you constantly sought information and you sought to see like how you could absorb and learn from other people, and it has paid off in like leaps and bounds, brother. Like but it's just a perfect example for everybody. Is like when you like one reach out and then you're constantly being that person that is there to give and is there to support other people, then you become that thing that's top of mind for them. So the next
mm-hmm.
time they've got like some deal or they got something they're working on, they're like, you become the first person they're thinking of. Like, oh, you know
Always
what?
top
Like
of mind.
Spec helped me out with this thing like
Yes,
last week.
it's
Like so
reciprocated.
simple. And it could be like an
Reciprocated.
article you're sending. Like don't like downplay things. If you don't think you have like $1 million to give somebody, you can give somebody information. You can give them a like, hey, how you
Time,
doing? Just thinking about
energy.
you. Like anything.
Some people just need good energy. Some people just need
Yeah.
somebody to be positive around them, and just that alone will take you far. You know how many
Yep.
pessimistic energy vampires that's around people that when you come around, they're like, man, I really like this person, and they just want to
Exactly.
see you win just because they like you. You know how many times people are like, yo, I really like that person. Give it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, get a job to him. Well, but Travel over here, like he has $1 billion company. Sure, you want to give? Nah, I like
No
Spec.
matter.
Give it to Spec, right? I like Spec, right? And just because
Yo.
good energy, you're just a good person, integrity. Like you're always willing to learn. You're always willing to be pleasant around that person, like and giving back. Like that's what it takes. And with that formula alone, you will see yourself just grow into this butterfly that everybody wants to help and see grow,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And just so you guys have some background on Marco, like I knew Marco for 11 years, since
Yeah.
2009, right? It's been a while. So he's seen Spec Tack with the bad chick in the back, try to beat it up like an
Grind on
Everlast
me.
punching bag, to Mr. Spectacular, who owns an online business in the
Yes.
E5000, fastest growing company in
The whole
America,
transition, bro.
best privately owned company in America, to what's up, baby? Take them panties off. He done seen both of them. He done seen both of them.
Oh man.
Why,
And,
Marco, bro? Thanks for jumping on, man.
yeah, no, I appreciate you, brother. Stay up and keep doing what you're doing, man.